Hey, TGGGGGG. We get one, baby. We get one. In the video that I made yesterday or last night, I said, if we can just get this one, the Falcon game becomes big, You come back from London going into a bye week 2-3. And then slowly but surely, believe it or not, you start getting a few guys back even more. And you get a little healthier. And who knows? Who knows? Who knows? A lot of us had talked about it from the beginning, about this schedule. I don't know. The schedule never really, the schedule didn't put much, listen, it'll put a lot of fear into anybody, right? A lot of fear into anybody when you're the Jets, anybody you're going up against. But the bottom line is, we could be 2-3 a week from now, going into a bye week. Because I think it could happen. I watched some of that Falcon game today, too. I had a bunch of different little screeny things going on here today. So let's get rolling with this one. Okay, the first two guys we're going to talk about are on defense. First is Quinn Williams, because he played a fantastic game. He looked exhausted. In the third quarter, he looked exhausted. Yeah, the sacks were fantastic. Yeah, the tackles were fantastic. Watching him, did you see how many tackles he made on Henry, or was it McNichols? Really good football game. Which brings me to the next guy. This next guy, if I was the GM, they'd lock me up and throw away the key. Honestly. I went from the beginning of the game saying, 120 miles an hour is fantastic, but this is not going to work. To a certain point saying, you know what? Sign him. To like 20 minutes later saying it's not going to work. You can't play like this. To like 15 minutes later saying give him an extension. Give him an extension. Long term. Whatever he wants. The tackle he made on Henry. That one-on-one tackle he made on Henry, where Henry still got the first down. Henry ain't been hit like that in a long ass time. There's going to be players that look at that play and say, wow, that was as impressive a one-on-one hit on Henry that you'll see. He just blew him up. And this kid, I don't know what to make of this kid. There have been players like that. There have been players like that have come out of college. They start their career. They're just insane, with their all over the place attitude and just, missing plays. I mean, look at the interceptions he missed today, 2, right? 2. But what are you going to do? Do you learn that? Do you learn how to just, or does that make you a different player? I don't know. All I know is this. This is fun. This is fun watching this kid. I'm to a point now when I get pissed off with him. I'm okay with it. Next, Corey Davis. Where do you go with Corey Davis? And Corey Davis made some plays today that were outstanding. From the first angle we had that touchdown, I was so positive it was a pass interference too. I wasn't even looking to see if he caught the ball. I'm looking for a flag. But he caught the ball. What a play by Zach. It was just a crazy play. And that one where he went up to get it. And then there was others where, dropped a couple. I know is that without him today, I don't know. Next thing we go to is the offensive line. How do you win a game like that? How do you win a game with an offensive line playing like that? There was no chance to set up the run whatsoever. There was that brief period. Was it in overtime? When we had this couple little runs here and there? Oh, yeah, but you know how that was set up? You know what? We're going to jump right out of the offensive line. I don't know how to figure out the offensive line right now, other than to say they're really, really struggling. Moses, he played a really bad game today. Fant played a bad game today. Vera Tucker looks as raw as you could possibly imagine. McGovern, to me, didn't look, but that's not good, And Van Roten, forget about it, man. I mean, he let a couple plays go on just your little exchange guard tackle exchange rushes that are like, we're taught that in Pee Wee League football, right? They're just exchanging, and he just reacted so slowly, you know. But let's go really quick to LaFleur. LaFleur had me really confused also. I mean, I couldn't figure out what he was trying to do, and then it just hit me. He's just like a riverboat gambler, man. This is the way he is choosing to grow Zach. And maybe he just realizes that, I know you guys think you're seeing a little running game here and there. It's not there. He chose the play calling that he called to try to run the clock out with like 4 or 5 minutes to go was, to me, brilliant. He tried the first play. The first play was a running play, but was that play to Barrios. And Barrios went around and cut up towards the center of the field and gained like 6, maybe 7 yards. I think it was 6 yards. So now it's 2nd and 4. But now the Titans aren't just sitting there, because you thought the Titans, any team would just be sitting there. They're going to run the ball and make us use our timeouts. And now that's not what happens. On the first play, he runs that unusual running play to Barrios and then runs a regular play to Carter, where Carter makes a fantastic move. You see him, he's going to cut outside left, and you know that's going to take him out near the out-of-bounds marker. He stops, cuts back center, and then takes it for 13 yards, and also thinking about not getting out of bounds. Early, too, he's thinking like that. So I'm sure he was told it, but you got to give a kid a lot of credit. A lot of these kids are told that. And you still see him somehow running out of bounds. So LaFleur, I just think right now, he is going to call plays like this. He's going to let this kid sling. For good or bad, I don't know. For good or bad, he is going to let this kid sling. And you know what? Today, it worked. It worked. You got to give him credit. It worked. The Jets were going to be no better off if they ran the ball 10 or 15 more times. They were not going to be better off. They were not. We can't get fooled about what we saw a little bit towards, the fourth quarter and a little bit in overtime, a couple runs here and there. Zach deserves his own movie. He deserves his own movie. You want to talk about the missed passes? The clutch missed passes. 2 passes to tight ends. One would have been close to a touchdown, although our tight end wouldn't have fooled anybody. But it would have got him down to like the 1 or 2 yard line. How many passes? Shoelace passes. You know what? Yeah, I don't know if there's any of you guys out there like me. Some of them could have been caught, I mean, these guys are professional football players, These aren't like, left tackles we're asking to catch shoelace. Anyway, they were bad passes. He had the pass, of course, to Corey Davis that would have nailed the game. Overthrew him. If anything, that pass is usually belt high or near the ground, Nobody gets it but the receiver. And then the other ones, they were spectacular. The waving to Davis. I don't know what this kid is yet. I don't know what we've got here yet. I'll be honest with you guys. I do not know what we have here yet. Very special. Very, very special. Special sometimes, believe it or not, doesn't totally cut it. I know that sounds crazy, but I will say this: he's a tiger, man. He was on the sideline. LaFleur was trying to talk to him after that third down when he rolled right and ran out of bounds, got tackled. And LaFleur, Saleh said that he was going to go for it. If he had thrown the ball out, 4th and 1, he was going to go for it. So my question to you is, let's say he does throw the ball out of bounds. What play would you have run? Try another Tevin Coleman? Alley-oop? Over the line? Titans will be ready for that this time, wouldn't they? What would you have run 4th and 1? Saleh was going to go for it. It may have turned out just the way it was supposed to, because the Jets deserve to win this game. I don't give a shoot what anybody says. They deserve to win this game. They played hard, man. They played hard. They really, really did. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the defense and the head coaches. The defense, Michael Carter is being taken off the field, actually on his own. And I remember watching it as it's happening, and I'm saying, son of a God. And I look around real quick, and I just remember I'm by myself today, watching the game by myself today. And I'm thinking to myself, when did this happen? Michael Carter is being taken off the field, and I'm like upset, pissed off. 4th round pick, rookie, first year. And that's how I feel about Michael Carter being taken off the field. The Jets have a couple kids that are really making a name for themselves. And they have a couple kids that aren't coming close yet, but are being put in really valuable situations. You know? But anyway, bottom line is safeties are coming in and out. You know, I don't even know what the hell's going on with the safeties. You know, I don't even care. You know, I'm not losing any sleep over it as it's happening. The only time I got upset when Michael Carter came out, and I'm thinking to myself, how are they doing this? How are they doing this? And it's quite simple. It's New England Patriots, New York Giants. It's the old thing that brought Brady down from winning a couple more Super Bowls probably, is that a pass rush will make a secondary a lot better. And that's what we're seeing here. You know, when he has extra time, when he had an extra 2 or I would say anywhere from 1.5 to 3 seconds, and he got his eyes to the middle of the field, he tore the Jets up a lot. He did. But when he didn't, it was over. Very impressive, man. The defense was very impressive. And as far as the coaches, I thought Saleh coached a really strong game. I thought he did a really strong game. The first thing I was thinking about at halftime is that so far, one thing I'll give Saleh so far and the Jets coaches is that in certain games, most of the games, not last week, their halftime adjustments have been pretty good. Not bad for a bunch of new guys on the job. And I was wondering how they were going to adjust to the fact that you knew Derrick Henry was going to start to run it down eventually. And they did somehow. They got a lot of help with the clock, and they got a lot of help from Vrabel. I mean, Vrabel could have played Derrick Henry so much more, even as a decoy. You know, I know they had no more timeouts left, and I know there's on certain plays they really couldn't run. I mean, they could have, like with 32 seconds, you could have ran, and, you know, by the time, you know, the play's set and everything, you're probably spiking the ball with maybe 12 seconds. I get it's a lot of time. But the bottom line is have him out there as a decoy. Slow down the line a hair. Slow down your linebackers a hair. Make one of the cornerbacks have to maybe cheat inside a little bit or watch the corner edges a little bit, you know? And he didn't use them at all. One time he finally went to go run on the field and you saw him take about 6 steps. He turns around and goes right back off the field. Didn't use him. Overtime started out with him a little bit. Didn't work on a couple of plays, and that was it. It was over. You know? Crazy. But the biggest coaching, and you got to blame it on coaches, the biggest coaching problem is that you've got to be ready to kick that field goal at the end of the game. And that was a botched field goal. If you look at it again, the holder turns to the kicker to get the, you know, how a holder will turn to a kicker to get acknowledgement. Ready? Let's go. Kicker will nod his head. He turns back, makes a couple calls, then calls for the ball. When he turned his head to the kicker, the play clock hit 4. By the time he turned back to the center, the play clock was at 2. And I'm thinking to myself, these guys may not get it off. And they barely got it off. I mean, barely. And the kicker pulled it left. And you wonder if that had anything to do with it. Probably not, maybe not. But, you know, you don't need that in a kicker's head, you know? You don't need that in a kicker's head. So, now we move on to the Falcons, guys. Now we move on to the Falcons. And again, like what I said yesterday about this game, I think the Jets are in a really good, this is a good matchup for the Jets. I really do. Yeah, Matt Ryan threw for 4 touchdowns today, but it wasn't as pretty as it looked, and their defense was horrible. Their special teams was awful. They gave up a kickoff return. I'm just not a big Washington football fan, Washington football team fan, So they're 1-3. They're 1-3. It's not the same Falcon team anymore. It really, really isn't. So far, I know because he's in my fantasy football team, Pitts has not gone off yet, and we hope that continues for one more week. We'll see what happens. Ridley is the man. Ridley is his go-to guy. And if the Jets can control that, I really do believe, here's the bottom line, I think the Jets come back 2-3 and go into a bye week. And man, oh man, that would be fantastic. More growth from Zach. More growth from Zach. More growth from Zach. Because that was really cool today. That was some really cool quarterback play. I think so. Enjoy the week, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry the video's a little bit, I'll probably try to cut some stuff out. So if you see little cuts here and there, I apologize. Because Brooke's going to kill me. Have a great week, guys. Take care.